Have you ever felt like money comes in and then disappears, as if there were a hidden leak somewhere in your home? You pay and pay and pay, and it feels like there's never anything left. If you stopped here right now, it wasn't by accident. I've studied ancient symbolic traditions for many years, and there is one specific Hebrew letter that, when placed on a door, works as a reminder of boundaries and openness, and many people notice signs within the first 48 hours. But it only works if three things are done the right way: the exact placement on the door, the right intention without anxiety, and most importantly, the mistake that cancels everything, the one almost everyone makes. I've seen this help people who are at their limit, not a miracle but a release, a response that finally comes, a payment that shows up, an opportunity that opens. Now, so I know you're willing to go all the way through, comment this below. I close the leaks and open paths. That activates your decision. And if this kind of teaching brings you peace and direction, subscribe. Here, I share weekly symbolic practices and ethical prosperity habits, without exaggeration and without easy promises. Now come with me. I'm going to show you the letter and exactly where to place it. Take a breath with me for a moment, because I know that when financial pressure builds, the mind doesn't rest. And when the mind doesn't rest, the whole home feels it. What I'm about to explain is simple, and at the same time, deep. Your door is a boundary. It's the exact point where your outside life meets your inside life. That's why, across many traditions and cultures, the door has long been treated as a place of attention, protection, and direction. Before we go any further, I want to be very clear with you. This is educational and symbolic content inspired by shared traditions and values. It is not a promise of miracles. It does not replace financial responsibility or professional advice. What I'm teaching you is a practice of intention, order, and focus, because when you change your inner state and your environment, you change what you notice, what you choose, and what you allow. And why a letter? Because a letter isn't just a shape. A letter is language, and language directly affects how you show up in the world. You already know this. When someone speaks words that drain you, you feel it. When someone speaks words that lift you, you feel that too. So when we place a symbol on the door, we're setting a clear marker. From here on, I close what drains me and open what supports me. That's exactly why I asked you to stay with me until the end. The power isn't in knowing about it. The power is in doing it the right way, with calm, with respect, and without anxiety. In a moment, I'll show you the letter clearly, and I'll explain the exact placement and the detail most people completely overlook. And when you understand this, you'll realize something important. This isn't about magic. It's about boundaries, intention, and consistency. If you're still here right now, it's because you're ready to do things differently. So let's get to what matters. Simply, because I know you're not here for a speech. You're here to do something and feel that something shifts. The first thing you need to understand is this. A door isn't just wood and a lock. A door is a habit. It's how you begin your day and how you end it. It's the last thing you touch before you leave, and the first thing that welcomes you back. And when there's a leak in your financial life, there's almost always a leak in daily life too. Anxiety, rushing, clutter, harsh words, accumulated exhaustion. It's not your fault. That's real life. But there is a way to create a marker, a clear signal to yourself, that from today on your home becomes a place of boundaries and direction. So let's make the first adjustment now, together. Choose your main door. If you live in an apartment, it's the front door. If you live in a house, it's the door you use most often. And I'll ask you something small but important. When you stand in front of it for a few seconds, don't do anything automatically. Just observe. Notice if you usually leave in a rush. Notice if you come in already thinking about problems. Notice if, without realizing it, you close the door the same way you close your heart. Because many women do this. They shut the door hard, and the body understands everything feels heavy. Now do something simple. Place your hand on the door, just your palm lightly, and say, under your breath, like you're making an agreement with your own life. From here in I breathe, from here in I get reorganized. That's it for now. And pay attention, because here's the first thing most people ignore. The spot where you place the letter can't be chosen on impulse. There is a better place, and there's a mistake that cancels the whole thing. In a minute, I'm going to show you the letter, and I'll tell you the right place on the door to put it discreetly. But before that, I need to warn you about mistake number 1. Because if you do it the wrong way, you'll say it didn't work, when really, without meaning to, you dismantled the process yourself. Stay with me, because the next step is exactly what connects this practice to what you want to see in 48 hours. Signs, responses, doors opening. I want to tell you a short story, because I know when we recognize ourselves in someone else, the mind stops fighting and the heart starts listening. A while back, a woman reached out to me. I'll call her Marta. She was in her mid-50s, kids already grown, and there was a tiredness in her eyes that wasn't from one bad day. It was from years of trying to hold it all together. She said to me, "I'm not reckless, I'm not irresponsible, I'm not lazy. I work, I budget, I make lists, I save when I can, I pay what I can, but it always feels like something happens. There's always an emergency. There's always a bill that shows up. Someone always needs something. And when money comes in, it's gone." And when she said it's gone, I could see it wasn't only about money. It was about dignity. It was about fear. It was that feeling of carrying the world on your back and nobody noticing. Because that's what happens to so many women. They hold the house emotionally, they hold the family, they hold the day-to-day, and then they're expected to carry the guilt of not getting ahead. So I asked Marta something simple. How do you walk into your home? She looked at me like, "What do you mean?" And I explained, when you open the door, what are you bringing in with you? Do you come in breathing, or do you come in already judging yourself? Do you come in present, or do you come in on autopilot? Do you close the door gently, or do you shut it fast like you're trying to shake the day off your body? And she went quiet. Because without realizing it, that's exactly what she did. She came home exhausted, opened the door already thinking about the problem, dropped her purse wherever, tossed her keys down, walked in complaining about her body, complaining about how expensive everything is, complaining about time, and she shut the door like she was telling life, "I can't do this anymore." I'm not saying she didn't have reasons. She did. Everything is expensive. The mind is overloaded. You turn on the news and it feels like the ground is shaking. But there comes a point where we have to make a choice, keep living like everything is loss, or create a small ritual of reordering, a marker that says, "From here in, I'm in charge." So I offered her a practice that was very simple, symbolic, and private, and I told her, "Marta, you don't have to believe in anything mystical. You just have to do it with respect and consistency. Because what we're doing here is stopping the cycle of it disappears and starting the cycle of it stays." She did it. She didn't tell anyone. She didn't turn it into a performance. And in the first 2 days, she texted me, "I don't know how to explain it, but I feel calmer." And I replied, "That's the first sign." Because before any money shows up, what shows up first is the feeling that you have ground under your feet again. And when you have ground under your feet, you notice opportunities you used to miss. And then something happened that I see repeat all the time. On the 3rd day, someone who had owed her money for a long time reached out to settle it. And that same day, she finally got a response she'd been waiting on for weeks. It wasn't magic. It was a release. It was movement. It was like the house, on the inside, stopped leaking. That's why I'm asking you to stay with me, fully present. I'm not here to sell you empty hope. I'm here to give you a simple practice that creates order, boundaries, and direction. And when that happens, you shift on the inside, and things start to line up on the outside. Now, in the next step, I'm going to show you the letter, and I'll explain why it's tied to the idea of speech, intention, and support. And most importantly, what mistake cancels this practice right at the beginning. Now I'm going to show you the letter. And I want you to look at it calmly, without rushing, like you're receiving something important. This is the letter P. It's called P, and in the Hebrew tradition, it's connected to the idea of mouth, speech, and words. And I know what might be going through your mind right now. But what does a letter have to do with money? I'll answer you very directly, in a way that actually makes sense, because your financial support doesn't depend only on how hard you work. It also depends on what you accept, what you tolerate, and what you repeat to yourself every single day. It depends on the words you use when you're tired, the phrases you say when you open your bank app, the tone you use when you talk to life. There are women who, without realizing it, repeat things like, "Money never stays with me. I was born to struggle. Everything always goes wrong." As soon as it comes in, it's gone. And every time those phrases are repeated, the body believes them. The mind tightens, the vision narrows, opportunities pass right by and you don't even see them. So when I talk to you about this letter, I'm not talking about magic. I'm talking about a bridge between two very real things inside you, intention and reality. The letter becomes a reminder, a quiet marker on your door that says, from here in, the way I speak changes. From here in, I stop feeding scarcity. From here in, I close what drains me. And that's why the door matters so much. Because a door isn't just an entrance. A door is a boundary. It's the place where you decide what you allow to enter, and what you no longer allow to run your home. Now pay close attention, because I'm about to give you something valuable. Most people don't fail because the letter is wrong. They fail because they do it from panic, from urgency, from a place of, I'll try this and see if it works. And that already breaks the intention. The right intention is not begging. The right intention is taking a stand. It's saying clearly and firmly, I'm ready to change my pattern. I respect my home. I close leaks and open paths. In a moment, I'll teach you the step-by-step, simple, grounded, and realistic for a busy woman. But before that, I need to say one more thing because this will protect you from frustration. You don't need to tell anyone about this. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to turn this into a conversation or a debate. What's valuable is handled with discretion. And now here's the promise I make to you honestly. If you do this calmly and consistently, the first thing you'll notice will not be money falling from the sky. It will be a shift in your state. More clarity, more peace, a feeling of having solid ground again, and from there the signs start to appear. Let me be clear. The most common signs in the first 48 hours are not fireworks. They're small openings, a message, a response, a sense of relief, something loosening. Stay with me because in the next block I'm going to give you step by step, part 1, and I'll reveal mistake number 1 that cancels this practice even when the letter is written correctly. Now let's go into the steps, the right way without overcomplicating. I want you to be able to do this calmly, like when you tidy one corner of your home and feel your whole body breathe. Step 1. You'll need a small piece of clean white paper. It doesn't have to be big. What matters is that it's clean and handled with care. Step 2. You'll write the letter P slowly. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be artistic. It needs to be clear and written with presence. And here's an important request. As you write, don't think about debt, fear, or lack. Write thinking about order, boundaries, and direction. You can quietly say, very simply, I close the leaks. I open paths. Or in my home, peace comes first, harm and support follows. Step 3. When you finish writing, hold the paper for a few seconds and look at the letter. This matters because the letter represents speech and the mouth. This moment is like saying to yourself, I'm changing the way I speak to life. I'm done declaring scarcity. Because when many women are exhausted, harsh words come out without noticing. I can't do this. I can't handle it. This isn't going to work. And that heaviness settles into the house. Step 4. Before placing the letter on the door, I'll ask you to do something that seems small, but gives the whole gesture its strength. Place one hand on your chest and take 3 slow breaths. Just 3. And as you breathe, say silently, I'm not doing this from panic. I'm doing this with steadiness. I am safe. I am present. And now I'm going to give you mistake number 1, the one that cancels this entire practice, doing it in a rush from fear. When someone does this hurriedly, like they're begging for relief, the body is saying, I'm in danger, and the mind switches into survival mode. In survival mode, you don't see opportunities, you only see threats. So don't do this in the middle of an argument, in the middle of a crisis, or at 3 in the morning when anxiety is running the show. If you're very agitated, pause, wash your face, drink some water. Come back when you're a little calmer. Because what you're building here is not magic. It's a new pattern, and a new pattern always starts with a new state. Now the next step is placing the letter on the door the right way. And this is where most people mess up, for a simple reason. They choose the spot impulsively, or they place it in a way that draws attention, and that breaks both discretion and consistency. In the next block, I'll tell you the exact place, I'll teach you the final gesture, and I'll reveal mistake number 2, the one that cancels everything even when someone starts out strong. And after that, I'll explain the most common signs people notice in the first 48 hours. Now we're moving into the moment of the door. I want you to understand this as an act of respect for your home, not an act of anxiety. Go to your main door and stand there in silence for a few seconds. That alone already shifts the energy, because most people come and go without noticing, and life turns into constant rushing, and rushing drains. Now about the placement. Choose a discreet spot on the inside of the doorframe, somewhere you can touch with your hand when you come in, but that isn't obvious to visitors. The goal is for this to be a reminder for you, not an announcement to the world. I usually recommend a height around shoulder level, easy to reach, easy to remember. You don't need a measuring tape. It just needs to feel right to you. Now, calmly place the paper with the letter there. You can use a small piece of tape. It doesn't need to look perfect, it just needs to be secure enough not to fall. And before you place it, I want you to say one short sentence, because this letter is connected to speech and voice, and this sentence acts like a seal for your new pattern. Say it simply with presence. I close the leaks and open paths. In my home, support has a place. That's it. You don't need to say it out loud. You don't need to dramatize it. This is between you and your intention. Now comes a gesture that helps a lot. When you're done, place your hand on the door for 1 second and imagine yourself gently closing a cycle of scarcity and at the same time opening space for what's good. You can say very softly one more time, I accept the good, I accept the new. And now I'm going to reveal mistake number 2, the one that cancels this practice for many people, turning it into anxiety and exposure. Here's what I mean. When someone does this, and immediately goes telling everyone, asking for opinions, seeking validation, they create mental noise. They put themselves back in the position of needing approval from the world. And that strips the practice of its main effect, creating an internal boundary, a posture. So don't debate this. Don't ask for permission. Don't justify yourself. Do it quietly. Do it with respect. And let the change show up inside you first. Because what I want for you is peace. And peace doesn't mix with exposure and conflict. One more important detail. After you place it, don't keep checking it, touching it, testing it, as if you're demanding results. That's anxiety trying to take control again. The gesture is simple. You do it, you seal it, and you move on with your day grounded. And now I know the question in your mind. Okay, and in 48 hours, what will I notice? That's exactly what I'll give you in the next block. The most common signs, the subtle ones, and the more concrete ones. And I'll ask you one thing. Don't dismiss small signs. That's how life opens paths. First, it shifts your state, then your interactions, then your opportunities. Stay with me, because in the next part I'll give you a clear list and show you how to observe without paranoia or fear, the right way. Now let me tell you the most common signs many people notice in the first 48 hours. And I want you to understand this. A sign is not a spectacle. A sign is movement, something loosening. Life taking a step toward you when you take a grounded step toward it. And the first sign is almost always internal. Sign number 1. Your body feels lighter. You sleep a little better. You breathe more deeply. Your mind stops racing for a few minutes, and that's huge, because a tired woman isn't actually broke. She's out of breath. She's not actually without money. She's out of breath. And when the breath comes back, clarity comes back. And when clarity comes back, you start seeing what was invisible before. Sign number 2. You begin to notice the leaks you didn't see before. A small recurring expense. An anxiety-driven purchase. A charge you never questioned. A forgotten subscription. A habit that quietly drains you. This isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. It's like turning on a light in a corner of the house. You look and think, how did I not see this before? Sign number 3. A response arrives. It might be a message that had been delayed, someone suddenly remembering you, a phone call, a simple opportunity appearing out of nowhere. And I'll tell you something important. Many people only receive opportunities when they stop vibrating desperation, because desperation pushes people away, closes doors, and drains your natural presence. Grounded presence does the opposite. Sign number 4. Stuck money starts to move. It doesn't have to be big. A refund, a discount, a small sale, an old debt someone finally decides to pay, a payment that gets unstuck. These are movements, and movement creates more movement. Sign number 5. The way you talk begins to change. Without even noticing, you replace "this won't work" with "let's see what I can do." You replace "I'm unlucky" with "I'm reorganizing." You replace "money disappears" with "I'm closing the leaks." That changes your face, your tone, your posture, and that changes what you attract, what you tolerate, and what you decide. Now I want to ask you something, because I know this audience likes to comment, and that creates a beautiful chain of presence. Right below which of these signs you want to see first. Lightness. A response: money unblocking opportunity. Just one word. Simple. Direct. And while you're waiting for the first 48 hours, I want you to do one thing. Don't monitor. Don't pressure. Don't spiral into anxiety. Do your part with steadiness and keep living with dignity. Because anxiety, again, is another form of leakage. Now here's a very important point, one that gives safety to all of this. The kind of prosperity that's worth having doesn't humiliate anyone. It doesn't step on anyone. It doesn't require war. Real prosperity gives you peace. It organizes the home. It lifts the weight off your chest. In the next block, I'll explain how to keep this on a clean, ethical, protective path, and why that increases your ability to sustain what comes instead of living in exhausting ups and downs. Because I need to tell you something foundational. Prosperity without peace is not prosperity. It's just noise. Some people want money to prove something, to silence someone, to compete, to get revenge, to show. And when that's the intention, life turns into a battlefield, and battle drains. Battle steals sleep. Battle destroys health. What I'm teaching you here has a different spirit. It's about support with dignity. It's about the home becoming a place of rest again. It's about no longer feeling your chest tighten every time the phone rings, every time a bill arrives, every time someone asks. That's why I'm going to give you 3 simple protection principles that keep this practice solid. Because otherwise people do it for one day and fall right back into the old pattern. Principle 1. Don't do this from greed. Do it from order. Greed is hunger that never ends. Order is peace that grows. You don't need to get rich to breathe. You need to stop bleeding internally. So when you do this practice, think, I want stability, I want clarity, I want calm. That's strong. That's beautiful, that's fair. Principle 2, don't use this to harm anyone. Don't do this with the intention of taking what belongs to others or hurting someone who hurt you. I know life wounds, I know. But when you place your energy on the path of fairness and integrity, you protect yourself. You don't get contaminated, and your home stays light. Principle 3, combine symbol with small action. This is essential. Symbol without action becomes fantasy. Action without symbol becomes exhaustion. You need both. So over the next few days, along with this practice, choose one small action of order each day. Cancel an expense, organize a bill drawer, review a payment, have a calm conversation, plan a purchase. One small action per day, not obsession. Direction. Now let me tell you something that happens to many women. They start improving, and suddenly they feel guilty, as if prosperity were forbidden, as if they had to suffer to deserve peace. That's another kind of leakage. It's like when good finally arrives, they open the door themselves and send it away. And that's exactly what we're closing here. So I want you to really let this land. You don't have to suffer to be a good person. You can be good and have peace. You can be good and have stability. You can be good and still see doors opening. And here's an emotional protection I value deeply. When you notice any sign of improvement, even the smallest one, don't rush to tell everyone. First, acknowledge it quietly inside. Second, respect the process. Third, keep your heart grounded. What grows slowly grows strong. If this video is helping you, I'll ask you one more thing. Subscribe now. What I'm building here is a series for women who want to prosper ethically, calmly, and with protection. You'll have guidance, continuity, and support. And now, to close this video the right way, I'm going to give you a simple 7-day routine to help sustain this new pattern without exhausting yourself. Because the secret isn't doing it once. The secret is keeping the path open without sacrificing your peace. In the next part, I'll guide you day by day. Now let's go through the 7-day routine. Simple, practical, and realistic. This isn't meant to become a burden. It's meant to become a path. Day 1, a clean entry inside and out. Today, do just one thing. When you come home, pause at the door for 2 seconds and breathe. Before jumping into tasks, say quietly, I'm home. I can breathe. If you can, lighten the entry a little. Move one object, adjust one small detail, just one. Day 2, a phrase that closes a leak. Choose one phrase to replace a scarcity phrase. If you usually say money disappears, replace it with I'm closing the leaks. If you say this won't work, replace it with I'll find a way forward. It's simple and powerful. Day 3, a gentle look at your finances. Set aside 10 minutes to look at one bill or expense calmly. No panic, no self-blame, just understanding. The goal is clarity, and clarity is protection. Day 4, one small action that creates order. Today, cancel or adjust one small thing that drains you. An impulse purchase, a recurring charge, something you pay without noticing. One small win already shifts your mood. Day 5, quiet gratitude. When you notice a sign, even a small one, offer a silent thank you. No performance, no drama, just gratitude. Gratitude calms the nervous system and places you in the posture of someone who receives with dignity. Day 6, protecting the home. Less complaining, more direction. Today, observe how often your words weigh down the environment. When you notice it, gently shift your tone. This isn't pretending, it's choosing not to feed what drains you. Day 7, review and seal return to the door. Touch the door frame calmly and repeat, I close the leaks and open the way forward. Then think of one small action for the coming week. Just one. Small, real. If you follow this for 7 days, you're not just doing a ritual. You're training a new internal pattern. And when the pattern changes, life responds in ways you don't expect. First in your peace, then in your choices, and then in your opportunities. Now to close, let me tie everything together with a simple summary and leave you with a clear next step, and the next video in this series. Here are the 3 things I want you to remember. First, your door is a boundary. It marks what enters and what leaves, not just your home but your emotional state. Second, the letter is a reminder of speech and intention. This isn't done with rush or fear, but with presence, steadiness, and discretion. Third, the signs within 48 hours are movements, relief, a response, something unblocked, an opportunity. When you notice a sign, don't doubt yourself. Just keep going. What grows calmly grows strong. If this video brought you peace and direction, I invite you to subscribe and stay with me. I'm building a series for women who want to protect their homes, close leaks, and open paths, with ethical prosperity and without exaggeration. Before you go, answer me one simple question in the comments just so I can know you better. What is your biggest leak right now? Anxiety, small recurring expenses, or negative self-talk? In the next video, I'll show you the mistake at the entrance of the home that quietly makes opportunities leave, and how to correct it with a simple adjustment in under 2 minutes. Stay with peace in your heart and steadiness on your path. And if you stayed until the end, I'll give you a bonus tip I don't usually share right away, because it's too simple. And precisely because of that, most people ignore it. But it closes a silent leak that can undo the effect of any practice. Pay attention to this. A lot of women want to open new paths but keep their wallet in a state of neglect. And when I say wallet, I'm not talking only about the object. I'm talking about the symbol. Your wallet is like a mini gateway for your daily livelihood. It's where you keep what comes in, what proves who you are, and what goes with you everywhere. So here's the bonus. For 7 days, you're going to do what I call ordering the flow, a 60-second gesture per day. And you'll notice how much this shifts your mindset and your patterns. Step 1. Choose a day and do it now. Take your wallet and open it calmly. No judgment, no guilt, just observe. Step 2. Remove what feels like weight. Old bills, crumpled papers, receipts you keep out of anxiety, expired cards, things you don't even know why you're carrying. It seems small, but this is exactly how the subconscious learns to live, carrying unnecessary weight. Step 3. Make space for the new. Now organize it simply. Cash together, IDs in place, cards aligned. It doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be respectful. It's like making your bed. It doesn't change the world, but it changes how your body feels. And here comes the most important part. The seal. Step 4. Place a protective phrase inside your wallet. On a small piece of paper, write one short sentence. Just one. It needs to be affirmative, steady, and gentle, so your heart understands that you're back in charge. Write this. I honor what comes in. I protect what stays. I receive with peace. Fold the paper carefully and place it inside your wallet. Don't show it to anyone. Don't explain it. It's yours. Now let me explain why this works. When you organize your wallet, you're teaching your brain a clear message. I value my livelihood. And when you value something, you pay attention to it. When you pay attention, you make better decisions. And when you make better decisions, the leaks start to close. There's more. Many people do the door practice, but keep living on autopilot during the day, and the mind slips back into the old pattern. This bonus acts like an anchor of consistency. It keeps you aligned. So do this. For 7 days, once a day, open your wallet for 10 seconds, touch the paper, and repeat silently, I honor what comes in. I protect what stays. That's it. You've done the bonus. If you do this calmly, you'll notice something powerful. You stop treating money like an enemy and start treating it as a responsibility handled with respect. And for a woman who has carried the weight of the world on her shoulders, that shift alone can feel like a form of healing. If this bonus made sense to you, comment just one word below: wallet.